Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome to episode number 12 of the Bookhater Club podcast. We're here today again. It's a beautiful Thursday. It's not. It's raining, it's gloomy, but you can still see me very brightly because if you know me, then you know that I'm usually not this lit up, but I have a new lighting. How cool is that? I don't know if you can tell the difference. Maybe if you look at the other video and then come back to this one, like look at it side by side, you can tell. But I'm very illuminated and I feel very self-conscious now because you can see me very well. And I feel like I can see everything in every pore. I mean, right now I'm small on the screen, on my camera screen, but when I look at myself on the PC, it looks crazy. And I set this up. We're just going straight in, whatever. Fuck the intro. Oh, no, it's okay. Or, I don't know, I can't say fuck in the first 30 seconds, so maybe I'm not good. But I actually set this up in my not in my podcast, in my vlog, in my reading vlog for my current read. We'll talk about it in a second. And I was kind of showing you the difference with my old lightning and with my new lightning. And that was yesterday. And I had planned on filming this episode yesterday also, but it was hair wash day. And I talked about it in my last review that every time I film it's hair wash day. And then I always have dirty hair when I film. And then I started filming with this new lighting in the vlog already, okay? My hair was dirty and everything. And I looked on it on my PC on full screen and I was like, I cannot do that. I can never film videos again without washing my hair right before. You could see everything. I look so nasty. I look so nasty, And so I delayed it to today because now you can see me full and bright. How cool is that? It has different settings. Do you want to see? I can't move it so much because the setup is a little bit off. It's a little bit off, but I'm still figuring it out. It's the first video with this lighting. So it has 3 different settings, of course. Okay, do you want to see? This is the one that I'm probably going to film on. This is golden hour. How do you like this? It's like, I don't know who uses this to film. Who would use this kind of light? And then this is like similar to the other one, but a little bit more, it's not as white. And so I don't know if I should maybe I should use this one instead. It looks more natural. I don't know. We'll stay on this for now. You can tell me which one looks better in your opinion. Then we'll do it for the next video, for the next review. Which makes it possible for me. No, I'll tell you the topics first, okay? I love podcast episodes because I just get to talk out of my ass. If you're new here, my name is Sophie, and I do rant reviews. I also have this podcast where I talk about bookish topics, and that's it. That's all I am. I do have a membership program on my channel, so let's start with a shout out to my members before we get into the topics for today, because they sponsored this light. It's a ring light. I wanted to get a softbox. I had a softbox. It didn't work, so we have this. We have this ring light, and it's working just fine. So they sponsored this by being a book hater. My book haters get to see my videos a day early before everyone else. They also get a shout out in my videos and they get to vote on my next reads, which they voted on my current read, which we have some beef about that I'm going to talk about in this podcast episode. Oh wait, my Wi-Fi isn't working. So let's look at my members so I can give you guys a shout out. You can also consider becoming a member, of course, if you want to see my videos a day early or if you want to vote on my next reads. And I would be very happy about that because the money that I make through my memberships goes back into the channel, like with this ring light. I hope it's slay. I hope you guys think it's slay. So my members are Haley B, Ashley Ranger B, Mrs. Preminger, Trinity ELW, Clara S, and my newest member that just joined the other day, and I'm so happy to welcome you as a new member, is Kushi Meta. I hope I said that correctly. If not, then let me know. Obviously, I will correct my pronunciation. I'm so excited that the book haters are growing, and I want to remind everyone that I have 7 members now, and once we hit 10 members, I will make a secret video public and available for members, which is my Ruby Red movie commentary that I uploaded 3 years ago, and I had to make it private because I had some issues with copyright. Because of Germany, you can't really do any commentary things. They're really strict with their copyright, and so I can't monetize that video, and if you are from Germany, Austria, or Switzerland, even if you are a member, you will not be able to watch that video. But if you're from a different country and you want to see my commentary, you want to see my videos a day early, you want to get a shout out, and you want to vote on my next reads, then you should consider becoming a member, because once we hit 10 members, I'm talking so fast, I'm gonna make that available for members. If you're interested in watching that, maybe. It's really fun. I did the subtitles myself, and you can judge me. 3 years ago, Sophie. Child Sophie. How old was I 3 years ago? 19. Anyway, so how do you like my new light? Let me know. I love it. But it's actually a really tall ring light. I can show you the one I was using before, and I'll talk more about it in my vlog. Wait a second. It's right here. It's right here. It's this one. Is it on? No, it looks like it's on because the other light is shining into it. But my new one is 10 times bigger. No. I don't know math, you guys know me. And this one used to have a little thing, what is it called, where you can put it on, and it broke off. And this thing is broken, it's like dented and shit, so I couldn't put it on anymore, and I always had to hang it onto the camera lens when I was filming. And it's not very illuminating. But if you want to see the side-by-side difference again, go watch my next vlog that's coming out after this. And the vlog is going to be, I haven't talked about the topics. Okay, let me talk about the topics first. So I'm so excited when I just get to sit and talk and listen to myself talk. You know what I mean? Today we're going to be discussing the publishing industry. There's going to be timestamps in the description, as always. If you only want to hear about some certain topics that I talk about, you can just skip to that. No shade, no tea. And we're going to be talking about the publishing industry, how publishing a book works, and about Fourth Wing in particular, because that book is kind of the reason I wanted to talk about the publishing industry. And that being said, I'm not part of that industry. I haven't published a book. I'm not planning on publishing a book. I haven't had a job in the industry. I'm German. Everything's different here anyway. So maybe there's someone watching who knows more about this industry. And if I'm spreading false information in this video, you let me know, because obviously my information is just pulled out of the internet and I haven't first-hand experienced it. So feel free to comment down below, share your opinion and also your experiences, if you would like. We're going to talk about traditional publishing and not self-publishing. I think I've talked about that in my Kindle episode, where I talked about Kindle Unlimited, one of my podcast episodes. Every video that I mention, I will link down below. Okay, so you can go watch more of my videos and watch my ads. Okay? Thank you to everyone who watches the ads. So you also sponsored this light, and you also sponsored my current read, which is, of course, Immortal Longings. And I didn't even know this book existed. It's by Chloe Gong. I don't know if you guys knew about it, but I had a commenter say, Sophie, you need to read it. And I looked it up, and it had terrible reviews. It has like a 3.5 on Goodreads, which is bad, okay? Especially for someone like Chloe Gong, who has, well, she's rather new, and she has books that are very loved in the community. And I was a little bit flabbergasted when I saw that, and I put it on my TBR immediately, and then I had my members vote. And they voted for Immortal Longings. The runner-up was Icebreaker, and I was convinced that Icebreaker was going to win. I was convinced, so I bought Icebreaker. It was €5, you know, a steal on Kindle, and I started reading it without the vote being up yet. I was like, Icebreaker is gonna win for sure. I check back and tell me why Immortal Longings is winning. I had to stop reading. I only read the first 2 or 3 chapters of Icebreaker. And I stopped reading, and then of course, I abide by the law that I made in the Bookhater Club. I made the laws because I'm the president of the Bookhater Club. And I started reading Immortal Longings, and I'm also just 3 chapters in. It's very boring. It's very confusing too. It's a lot of talking. It's a lot of descriptive talking, and I'm a dialogue girly, you know what I mean? And so it's been a little bit difficult. The first 3 chapters been a little bit difficult, but I'm giving it a shot. I've read what is it called? These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, and I hated it, and I was very much in the minority with that. That being said, that video kind of blew up unexpectedly, and I can tell you, my most watched video actually has 13,000 views on my channel. It's the A Quote of Silver Flames review, which I look absolutely horrid in that video. My hair dye job was so bad. I dyed it myself, you can tell. And I didn't think it was going to blow up, so I didn't really care how I looked. You know, when I did my light luck video, I put on my booby shirt. You can see my boobs really well, and I straightened my hair and everything. I got a little bit more ready, because I was like, this is going to slap, and it did. But my Violent Delights review has 12,000 views, which is a lot of views, especially for a channel my size. And I'm not really sure why. I don't know why that one was the one that blew up, because obviously I only do rant reviews, so why isn't all of my rant reviews blowing up? Someone tell me. I don't know. So, that being said, I'm also going to link that down below. Go watch it and watch the ads. Love you. Love you. My car needs new brakes. That's why I need money, guys. I'm sorry. I have to get from A to B, okay? So, Chloe Gong, we talked about her. Don't really know anything about her besides the fact that she hangs out with Alex Astor a lot, who of course is the author of Lightlark, which I also reviewed and which I also have a podcast episode about. Go watch those two too. I have a video on fucking everything. I like being in everybody's business, you know? It's gonna bite me in the ass at some point, I feel like. Anyway, that sequel is coming out soon, so that being said, the next video that's gonna come out is my reading vlog for Immortal Longings, and I'm going to try, it's Thursday today, get that out by maybe Sunday for members. Latest I want to get it out for members is Monday. So if you're not a member, you're going to be able to watch that on Monday or Tuesday. And then after that, obviously, the Immortal Longings review. And then on 7th of November, just a little timeline for my upcoming videos, the sequel to Fourth Wing and to Lightlark is going to come out. And I was thinking about doing a vote for members to decide on which one I'm going to read first. But being fully transparent, if you remember, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be doing it. The book I'm going to read first, I'm going to read both of them. But the one I'm going to read first is the Fourth Wing sequel. It just makes more sense for me to read that first for my channel. Also, because that book is still getting so much hype. Because the first book just came out a few months ago, which we're going to discuss today. And so, since it's still getting so much traction, and my Fourth Wing review itself is also still getting so much traction, it just makes more sense if I immediately get the Iron Flame, which is the name of the book, the review and the reading vlog out, maybe even do a podcast episode about it, just kind of milk the topic, peace and love, you know, we're being transparent. And after that, read Lightlark ASAP also. So, I hope that I can get a lot of videos out during that time. That being said, November is pre-exam. I have my exams like the end of January, beginning of February for university. But regardless, like, besides that time, end of January, beginning of February, November is probably my busiest month for university. I have like 4 presentations. I have to do other shit, like whatever. I don't even know what I have to do. I have to do a timeline today, so I even know like when my presentations are. I don't even know. I just know they're in November sometime. I haven't started yet. And so it's really busy. But that 1 week and the first week of December, I'm off. But the first week of December is too late. I have to get everything out in like the November week that Fourth Wing is coming, or the sequel is coming out. Which I don't know what day that is. It's a Tuesday. Okay. It's in 2 weeks. No, 3 weeks. But, well, whatever. We don't care about weeks, do we? 7th of November is a Tuesday, yeah. So we'll see. Maybe I'll even upload my review first. I don't know, I want to make it make sense for my channel. But that being said, it's the 19th today, and I'm uploading this today for members, and all of my normal viewers are seeing it tomorrow. And then the reading vlog, the review next week also for Immortal Longings. And then I'm also going to try to do another podcast episode, another reading vlog, and another review before I do Fourth Wing and Lightlark. And I already know which book, because I already bought it, and it's going to be Icebreaker. I'm going to read Icebreaker before Fourth Wing and the Lightlark sequel, because I already bought it. And it was the runner-up on the voting from my members, and I'm sure that if I had put it on again for the next voting, it would have won. So the reading order for me right now is Immortal Longings, Icebreaker, Fourth Wing sequel, Lightlark sequel. That's the whole point I'm trying to make right now. Love you. Hope that's not too ambitious for me. Maybe it is a little bit ambitious, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying my hardest. I wanted to do a like full reading day today, where I just read Immortal Longings, but it's already 1 p.m. So I feel like the day is already over, you know what I mean? I still have other things to do. But I do want, and I also just want a game, you know? I don't even want to do anything for uni. I bought the new Assassin's Creed game. I just want a game. So that's something I've been wanting to do. I love Assassin's Creed. What do you guys think? You know who else I love? When I was younger, I had a really weird obsession with Michael Fassbender. Michael Fassbender is an actor. You guys tell me if you know him. And he is from a city called Heidelberg, which is a German city. He was born in Germany. He speaks a little bit of German, not that much, I think, but I was really obsessed with him when I was younger because Magneto was also my favorite X-Men, and he plays Magneto. And then they announced an Assassin's Creed movie, which you have to tell me if you watched that, and the story of that is, I didn't even believe it. I was like, because I love Michael Fassbender and I love Assassin's Creed, and it was like, Michael Fassbender is playing the main character in the Assassin's Creed movie, and I said, oh my god, that's like my favorite things combined, my German king, and the movie flopped. The movie flopped, and I actually watched it, and you know where I watched it? I watched it in the cinema. Who did I watch it in the cinema with? My mom. Who fell asleep? My mom! She fell asleep, she started snoring. And I don't think that there were many people in the cinema, and we were like in the very back, you know, but that's like a memory engraved in my brain because I didn't have anyone that wanted to go with me. My friends did not care about, quite frankly, Michael Fassbender or Assassin's Creed because they don't game. I don't have any gaming friends. I didn't date my boyfriend yet who would have gone with me, and it's insane to think that this was like pre-boyfriend time because we've been dating for such a long time, but I don't even know when that came out. Let me look up when it came out, and it flopped, and I don't even remember how I thought it was. I don't remember like my review of it, you know, and I don't know if it's available anymore anywhere. I want to watch 2016. Yeah, that was I was 15. That was pre-boyfriend. Michael Fassbender. It has 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. It fucking flopped. Oh my god. That's so crazy though. Is that not so crazy? It was just like the stars were aligning for me at that moment, and then the movie just flopped. So tell me if you remember that movie, if you watched it, if you liked it. I feel like that's so niche. I don't remember anything of it. Honestly, I don't think I liked it. If I don't remember any of it and I didn't want to go watch it again, you know, I didn't like it that much. So, that being said, should we get into some of the topics for today? We actually only have one update and then the publishing industry topic. But that being said, I'm going to try to make this not so long. I always say that I'm going to try to make this not so long so I can go read Immortal Longings. Ugh, I really don't want to read it. I really don't want to read it. And I'm going to say it a third time. I really don't want to read it. I put it on Goodreads that I was reading it. And my Goodreads is honestly Sophie. And I mean this with Warren Haidt when I say I'd rather be reading Icebreaker. Because I was so convinced it was going to win. And then I was like, okay, never mind. Oh, someone invited me to a group? The book you like most? None. So my last podcast episode, number 11, Bookhater Club number 11, was actually about the dude on Booktok. And the title was Men on Booktok to make it a little bit more general. But we were talking about that one dude that published a book and was trying to promote it in a very weird way on Booktok to women by reading women authors a day, which no one really understood that correlation, how reading women authors was gonna get you on the New York Times bestseller list. But anyway, this dude found himself in a lot of hot water. Since filming my podcast episode, I haven't really followed him or what he's doing, but I did hear about one thing that happened, which I thought was really odd. He gave an interview with a random dude. Maybe the random dude is known, I just don't know him. And the first question that man asked him was, what does your fiance say about all this? And it's something I mentioned in my episode, that he has a fiance, and he stated that himself. He said it unprovoked in a video where he was talking about the writing process of his book. He said his fiance supported him, blah, blah, blah. And so he gets asked about his fiance in the interview. And he does not look in the camera. He has this nasty ass smirk on his face, and he says, I actually don't have a fiance. I lied about that to seem more likable, or something along those lines. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but he admitted that he lied about his fiance. And when I saw it on my For You page on TikTok. I was like, oh my god, why? Why would you do that? Lie about your fiance? And then I believed him that he lied, you know, because I was like, which woman would ever want to date someone like you? Peace and love. Like, that would just, he does not seem like a very nice person to be around. And war and hate, actually. I said peace and love, I don't mean that. That being said, he does have a fiance. And if she didn't break up with him, he does have one. He did have one at the time of saying he had one, and then also backtracking on it. And the reason I know that is because I started getting different videos on my For You page where they showed Instagram screenshots of him and a woman where everything just lined up, because he didn't lie. He didn't lie about he has a fiance. He didn't have to make that story up because it's the truth, you know? And everything just lined up perfectly with the things he was saying about hanging out in a fucking cabin and shit like that. And it seems like the only reason he backtracked on that was because he wanted to keep his fiance out of things, because people were finding that person's Instagram and stuff like that. He was also caught commenting on OnlyFans creators' posts and telling them his book was inspired by them and shit like that. And so people were saying, if you have a fiance, why the fuck would you do that? Why the fuck would you publicly do that? And he backtracked, said, I don't have a fiance, so either they broke up or he's just lying so to keep her safe or some shit like that. But I thought it was really funny because for like a day or two, people were like, why the fuck would he lie about this? Of course he doesn't have a fiance. Who the fuck would want to be with him? And then it came out he did have a fiance and he lied again. So we're over this man. We're done with him. We don't care. And I hope that he never publishes another book. I hope he just continues doing his fucking... I think he's a beer server. Beer server. I have to do a little bit more American. And his career in that, and maybe he becomes the best beer server in the world at some point. Which would of course be great. I would cheer him on if he does that. So... that's that. That's the only update I wanted to give. There was another Booktok drama going on that was interesting. It was about a girl that... and I didn't look further into this. It was at the end of September. It was a Booktok creator who said, I would never want to read romance books that are over 200 pages. A romance book should be 200 pages or less. Why the fuck are some romance books 500 pages, which quite frankly I agree with, you know? But then, and it's fine if that's your opinion, but she had, I don't know if she still has, I don't even know her name if I'm being honest. She had a Amazon wishlist with books on it, okay? Romance books that were over 200 pages. And then she made a video in which she said, oh, it shouldn't be over 200 pages. And then she showed books and said, I would never want to read this. I will never read this. Why would I read this? It's too long. I don't want to read this. And it turned out that those were books that were on her fucking wish list on Amazon. Or had been. Because people bought it for her. Viewers bought those books for her. And then she made a video saying, I will never fucking read this. You're fucking dumb. No, she didn't say you're a dumbass, but she was like, why would I read this? It's way too long. It's way too long. I have no interest in reading this. And then other books from the same series would still be on her fucking wish list. And she did make an apology video later. And since I don't know her name, and I was trying to look it up earlier, but I didn't really know what to search for, you know? She kind of backtracked. She didn't really apologize. I think she was just kind of saying that she made a joke. It was just a joke. It was just a little banter. But I thought it was really funny because for a while, actually, I used to have a wishlist in my description. And I don't have it anymore because I have members and I pay with the members. I pay the books with my members' money. That being said, guys, Immortal Longings, I went to the bookstore in Germany. And if I had gotten the paperback there, it would have been 18 euros and 50 cents. I'm going to tell you how much that is in US dollars in a second. So, because, you know, I have a lot of people from America watching. Wait a second. 18 Euro in Lira? Dollar. Okay. 18 euros is $18. $18.99. Okay, never mind. That's embarrassing. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be like 21 or 22. I didn't know that was gonna be the case. So, it was $18.99 at the bookstore, and I said, okay, whatever. I'm gonna look on like online if it's cheaper online, and online it was 14 euros. So $14.99. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna look on Kindle, and on Kindle it was 12. And I think that's expensive. I always thought that ebooks were cheaper, and of course it was 2 euros cheaper, but I was 12 euros. I don't know the last time I paid 12 euros for a book. That's like the maximum for me, honestly. I'm sorry to all of the authors, but I did buy this, so that's also why you have to watch the ads. I think for me, I always look at how much I make from videos, and it has to be at least the money the book cost me. So the effort was worth it. You know what I mean? But I used to have an Amazon wishlist, and first of all, no one bought me anything, which is fine. But then again, I was like, whatever. Like, I make money from the videos that I post anyway, and usually I do make, I mean, with 12 euros, it's a little bit difficult, because 12 is a lot for, to make for me, for videos, from just one video. But usually it's like 7 euros or something, and then after a while it gets there. So it's fine. And also I have my members now, and of course the money from the members also goes into the books that I buy. Because sadly I chose a YouTube career that requires paying money for the stuff that I make videos about. If I were a lifestyle YouTuber and they also get sent all of their shit, I'm so fucking jealous. Whenever it's like huge PR hauls, you know, I used to watch those all the time when I was younger. I'm always like, fuck, I wish I had that. I want PR, but I'm in Germany. It's a little bit more difficult in Germany with tax and everything. So now, after 40 minutes of filming, let's finally talk about our topic for today, right? About the fucking publishing industry. So, I wanted to talk about this, as I mentioned before, because of Fourth Wing. Because I found it very fascinating that 2 books in the same series were being published the same year. That being said, I am not used to that. Back in my day, you always had to wait, that was very German. You always had to wait, like, at least a year for the sequel to a series to come out. It would never be the same year. That being said, it was possible that an author would publish the same, or not the same, sorry, 2 different books from different series the same year. Sarah J. Maas did that, for example. She was publishing Throne of Glass and ACOTAR simultaneously. You just had to be there, you know. People were being fed very well, getting to read 2 Sarah J. Maas books a year, one in the spring, one in the fall, of course. But for the most part, same series, never the same year. And that has changed now, which I find very fascinating, how much faster the publishing industry seems to be now with traditional publishing. Because obviously if you self-publish and you, I don't really know, with prints and everything, again, that's not the topic of today, but with Kindle Unlimited, you can just kind of pump them out however you fucking want. How fast, in your own pace. But when you do traditional publishing, of course, it's you're way more attached to deadlines and contracts and everything, because there's a whole team behind you that's kind of dictating what you do. And just some examples for you guys, some very, I mean, I don't know if all of these examples say anything about this trend. Pick out a few examples, okay? Because of course Fourth Wing is I've mentioned this now several times in this video, was the reason I wanted to talk about this in the first place, because people, first of all, I thought it was a joke. The first time I saw that it was going to come out in November, the sequel, I thought it was a joke, because I was just not used to that. I was like, okay, next year March or some shit. And then I saw people complain. I saw people complain about the fact that it took so long. Maybe those were the people that read mostly on Kindle Unlimited. Peace and love, you know, because books come out very fast on Kindle Unlimited. And Fourth Wing, of course, the first book came out in April of this year, and the sequel's coming out in November of this year, as I mentioned before. Lightlark, for example, the first book came out a year ago, so also like October or November of last year, and the sequel is coming out this year, which is much more adequate and much more something I'm much more used to Let's put it that way. So another example would be Divine Rivals. The first book came out in May. Oh, I actually don't know. I wrote down May, but I don't know if that's the truth. Divine Rivals. When did it come out, guys? Let me tell you. Yeah, April. I lied. So also in April of this year. And the sequel is coming out in December of this year. Why not just make it next year if it's coming out at the end of December? And also I think it's coming out after Christmas. So it's not even like to drive sales up before Christmas because you're gifting it to someone. It's just weird. Okay. I don't know why books are published at the end of December, but anyway, just from a marketing standpoint, maybe someone else knows. Again, if you know more about this, feel free to comment. I love to be educated on this because it's something I'm very interested in. For today, at least. So, Crave is another example from 2020. The first book came out in April 2020, and the second book came out in September 2020. And then our queen, Jennifer L. Armentrout, who of course we have beef with, like I have with every author. And I also made a podcast episode about Jennifer L. Armentrout in case you're interested. She published the first book in the Blood and Ash series in March 2020 and the second book in September. So there's not a lot of time between the first and the second book, and it's very curious because when are you writing these? What are you doing? And I just feel like with editing and everything, there is so much that goes into publishing a book traditionally. A whole team, the marketing, you got to promote your book that just came out, and then the next one also has to be like already finished to come out. How are you cramming all of this in? Is it not stressful? Are you being forced? Are you being forced? Tell us. We don't know. So, what goes into traditionally publishing a book? Let's look at the process to understand this a little bit better. The alleged process that I sourced from the internet, okay? The first thing you do, of course, is write a book. You have to write a draft, you have to write a book, and then you have to decide on what publishing route you want to go. We're looking at traditional publishing. So after you finish your book and you think it's good to go, which usually never is good to go because you need to edit it with professionals and everything, because you're going to think if you write a book, that's your baby, that's the best thing anyone has ever written probably, and you're not going to see any flaws with it. You will have to look for an agent. You have to look for an agent, and that's normal. I'm sure that there's also cases where people just pitch themselves to publishing houses, and that way get a book deal. But I feel like the normal route, and what I always hear when authors talk about, oh, how did you get published? They always talk about getting a literary agent, and that agent has connections to publishing houses, and then proceeds. Sorry, guys. I said the setup isn't completely ready yet. Don't mind the ring light. But that's the proof that I have it. And you will also see it in the vlog. So, you look for an agent. I have my notes right here, right? And that agent will represent you to publishers and to publishing houses. And this may involve query letters or book proposals. Okay, so how I imagine it goes is these agents already are familiar with obviously the publishing industry, but they also have connections within different publishing houses. And they can kind of tell from reading your manuscript, after reading your manuscript, they decide whether they want to give it a chance or not, right? And if they take it on, they say, yeah, I see potential in this. They can also kind of see which publishing house would be a good fit, because different publishing houses sometimes specialize on different kind of books. Yeah? And we're in German class now. Should I continue in German? No, I won't. So that's what happens. And then the agent submits the manuscript. So your book is offered to publishing houses. There are a lot of different publishing houses, and I don't care. I don't have a favorite publishing house. Do you guys have a favorite publishing house by chance? I don't really care about publishing houses, but different houses are looking for different things. Oftentimes it can happen that they are looking for something very specific in a niche, like a new adult series, or they are looking for a specific young adult romantasy, and then they are actively looking for new books in that area. And they can also tell authors that are already signed under them, hey, we are looking for this kind of book. Can you please propose something? Like, do you have an idea? Do you want to give us a pitch of something that you could write? Which we'll talk about this thing later. So, the publishing houses look at the manuscript and they can decide whether they want to give it a shot or not, which is why you often hear that fucking authors did get a lot of, how do you say, they didn't get a lot of offers, or they didn't get any offers, no one wanted to take the book. And if a lot of people want to take your book, a lot of different publishers, something that can happen is bidding. And this is something that I first heard about when it came to Caraval by Stephanie Graber. She talked about it. She said that people or publishers started bidding on her book, and whoever has the highest bid is going to get the book. And then when the book is acquired by a house, obviously you're gonna have to decide on a contract with them for royalties, how much money you're gonna get, and everything else, timelines, deadlines, all of that shit. So that's when shit gets serious, when your book is taken by a fucking by a fucking publishing house. You then get an editor. The editor is gonna, it can be in-house, the publisher's in-house editors, they work with the author and they start editing the manuscript and helping them out. You also start a marketing campaign for the book, and then the book is printed in bulk. That's a good point. The books are shipped to distribution centers, from where they will be sent to bookstores and other retailers. Oh my god. And then you do the marketing, you do promotional activities like going on tour, which is a lot of authors do that. And I actually saw that Rebecca Yaros, the author of Fourth Wing, was in Germany in the summer. And I'm not sure if I knew about that. Like, in the back of my head, I feel like I knew that she was in Germany. But, dude, can you even see the back of my room? I'm just realizing this now. I didn't clean because I thought you couldn't see it. I hope you can't. I'm just gonna lean a little bit like this. Don't mind me. And they are gonna go on tour, maybe. Some authors do this, some don't. They're gonna give interviews online or in person, make YouTube videos with booktubers. You've maybe seen that. And of course, some authors also publish ARCs or send out ARCs, which ARC stands for Advanced Reader's Copy. And a lot of influencers on Booktok or Booktube receive a lot of PR, and that PR is usually ARCs, okay? And they get sent them for early review. I feel like some of them just sent them just to get their name out there, not even like contact them necessarily in depth before. They're just like, hey, what's your address? And they sent them. But for some, it's more extravagant with like goodies in the box, and with some, it's just the fucking book. Not that I would know, because I have never gotten anything, and I don't think I ever will. Again, we're in Germany, it's a little more difficult here. Then the book is officially released to the public on a set date, and those dates can also get pushed around. Of course, there's numerous things that go into publishing a book, with the editing, with the printing, cover design, and also, I don't know, just everything that could cause a book to be pushed back. This has happened with Sarah J. Maas also, as far as I'm concerned. I don't remember what book, but one of her books was also pushed back at some point. And you know what I realized the other day? That the Crescent City, the third book, is coming out in January. For some reason, I thought it was March that it was going to come out, but I feel like we've just been waiting so long for a new Sarah J. Maas book since like beginning of last year that honestly, she could have just published it in March next year. Like, it doesn't really matter at this point. But it's being published on the 30th or 31st of January, I think. And that's right in my exam time. And you know I have to read that book. So we'll see how that goes, okay? I will have to prioritize my career here. No, always put school first. I don't know if young people are watching this. Don't. I don't know. I think on my analytics I can see which age group watches my videos. Wait a second. I never really check my analytics, if I'm being honest. I just look on the YouTube app on my, like, at my comments and stuff and my views. Zielgruppe, Alter, age 13 to 17, 3.2%. Click off. Click off. This is not content for you guys. Or actually, Bookhater podcast you can watch. But the reviews of my adult books, I hope you're not watching that. I hope you're not watching that, okay? Oh, we have 16% men. Shout out to the men watching me. Okay, that's cool. Love you. So that is how you traditionally publish a book, okay? And I think that a lot of you see about a lot of like full-time authors now. Obviously people like Sandra Clare, Sarah J. Maas, they are full-time authors, but as far as I'm concerned, the royalties from books aren't even that high. that a lot of people still have to work other jobs, like teaching. A lot of teachers are also authors, like English teacher and literature readers. Leeches is a really funny segue, because I got a comment on my Once Upon a Broken Heart review by someone, and I'm peace and love, like, I'm just gonna read your comment out. Ella, she said, "It's so weird to me that so many cringe YA," your words, not mine, "cringe YA romance writers are university teachers. Like, you are trying to teach other people how to write. I drop out if my teacher wrote something like that," which is something I've said before also. And then I had another comment by Jasmine under the same video, under my Once Upon a Broken Heart review, where Jasmine said, "A uni teacher moving to her parents' house just to write a teenage romance novel series is so American." I'm sorry, peace and love as always, but like, how in the publishing industry no one in Northern Europe would be doing that, which I agree. I don't, it's very American. Peace and love to the Americans. It's but it's a pattern that I've noticed a lot, because you can't just, but like, you're a fully grown woman, you have a job, and you still have to move in back with your parents, which is, or maybe she wasn't a teacher at the time, but she didn't particularly say it. Like, she always just said she's a university teacher, and that she'd been teaching before she started writing, and that she was also teaching while publishing the Caraval series. But alas, we don't really know. I feel like my cheeks are getting so red. It's a bad habit of mine, guys. I'm a sweaty girl. Anyway, so my comment in my notes is, makes you wonder why so many ass books are published if the publishing industry is so strict. Because a lot of authors always talk about their books getting denied, not getting any offers, no one wants to take it on. And then you read shit like Crave, or you read shit like everything that I've read on my channel. That's not true, but you read stuff like Crave and you're like, okay, this is like terribly written. How the fuck does this get published? And funnily enough, Tracy Wolff, the author of the Crave series, is under the same publishing house as the Fourth Wing author Rebecca Yarros, in case you didn't know. I found that out when I was doing the research. But they are published by the same publisher. Now, a lot of trashy books that are published and get popular on Booktok are, of course, also just published through Kindle Unlimited or self-published. And then when they get a lot of hype, a publishing house decides to take it and offer the author a contract and print it properly, just so they can benefit from the hype that the book is getting online. And that is kind of the answer to that question, why are so many ass books published? It's just that the publishing industry is an industry and it's a business, and they are just trying to make money. They don't really care about what the readers want, which is why a lot of POC authors have a hard time getting their shit published, which is really upsetting, but that's just the truth. That's like, the publishing industry doesn't see it as profitable, which I personally don't really understand, because so many readers are asking for stories of LGBTQ plus characters, of POC characters and everything, and also by those authors, and the publishing industry is not really jumping on that. I think in the recent years it's getting better, and it's getting more inclusive, definitely. You see a lot of stories with those characters and also from those authors, but it's still at the beginning, in my opinion, because on Booktok they don't really get published. They don't really get pushed that much. It's a little bit of a difficult topic, especially for me as a white woman. A white cis woman, of course, but just if I think about all of the Booktok books that are really, really popular, that are really, really pushed into your face, it's usually written by white women or men. Peace and love, Nate. If you're watching this, I hope you're not. The Booktok dude, that are just writing about white people and white characters. You see LGBTQ characters, you see POC characters, but they're usually on the sideline, and usually they're also combined into one. They're usually a gay black character. We've analyzed this. I always point it out when I see it, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of really sad. But I think the publishing industry is making a turn into the better, and now we're just waiting for Booktok to catch up and really push like a POC author or a LGBTQ author to the heights that it does other authors, okay? But again, that's a more nuanced topic, and we are more talking about the Fourth Wing issue, of course. So, something I found online, of course, is publishers are strict about what they take on because every book they publish costs them money. Again, what I just said, it's a business, and so there's a lot of costs that go into it, into paying for editors, into paying for marketing, and all of that. And if they don't think that the book is going to be profitable for them, they're not going to take it on. As you know, guys, I study marketing. I know what I'm talking about. I actually don't. I was thinking about this the other day, and I think that I would like to work with a publishing house when I'm graduated. I think that would be nice for me, even if I do marketing for them or if I did editing. I don't know if I would be a good editor. I don't have an English degree. I don't really know anything. I just hang out. But I think my channel gives me some credibility. It's not like I know anything. I just like to pretend that I do, you know what I mean? But anyway, Rebecca Yarros is a very curious case of this. She, of course, has published Fourth Wing and a lot of other romance books before that, in case you didn't know. And she also published a romance book after Fourth Wing, which I'm not sure what the name of that is, and I also didn't read it, and I also don't want to read it. But the way I would describe it is she writes Kindle Unlimited romance, okay? Peace and love. I say that with peace and love. She has a publishing house, and that is, let me think, Entangled Publishing. Is that right? Yeah, it's right. And I actually thought that their website was a scam. I thought their website was a fake website when I googled it, and I'm going to show you a screenshot. You have to look at the screen for a second, please, so I can show you, because I'm too lazy to transfer it. But I just googled Red Tower Books, because that is the branch in the publishing house that she's published under. So the big one is Entangled Publishing, and then the adult fantasy niche for that is called Red Tower Books, but it's still the same publisher. And when you Google the website, let me show you. This is what comes up. Can you see? It's a fucking website with like emojis. And I genuinely thought this was like a phishing website. Like, you get a pop-up and they're like, you won the fucking new iPhone 15 Pro Plus and shit like that. But it's the actual website. It's the actual website. And that's curious, right? Curious, is that how you say it? I'm not sure. It's interesting. Entangled Publishing was established in 2011, and they also published Tracy Wolf, as I said. I think Rebecca Yarros and Tracy Wolf at this moment, are their most popular authors, okay? And on their website, it says, nothing is more important to us than the quality of our fiction, and it shows. I'm not sure how it shows, because you are publishing Crave. So I would like a little bit more elaboration on that. Alas, as I said, they published Kindle Unlimited Romance. That's what Rebecca Yarros was writing. And also with Peace and Love, you know, I've watched a lot of Rebecca Yarros things now in preparation for the sequel. And she seems like a very sweet woman and a very kind one. And she means the best, but Peace and Love, she's very American. Like, she's hardcore American, and I'll talk about it more when the sequel of Fourth Wing comes out, but it's just a little bit painful sometimes as a European when you see that and someone is like really American. But anyway, peace and love to the Americans. But she seems like a very sweet person, and she's really excited about Fourth Wing blowing up and everything. But it still is very curious that it got to such... I need to stop saying curious, but it's still very interesting that it kind of blossomed to such success. When we looked like more at it, it's not very interesting. It's just very obvious why, but I think it's really interesting. I'm using a lot of big words today, apparently. I watched one of Rebecca Yarros' interviews, okay? Because I was curious. Again, curious. I was interested. No, interested, curious. I was. I don't know any more words right now. I was very. Whatever. I wanted to know. I wanted to know how it came to be that she published Fourth Wing. And also just the fact that the books are being published in the same year. Because for me, personally, all of the bad books I've read, a lot of the times the authors publish the same series in a year. Like 2 of the same books in a year. And I think that the quality of your book does suffer under that. Because you're just hurrying yourself. Take your time. And I've said this numerous times again, and I will always say it when this comes up, okay? So Rebecca said in an interview, the reason she wrote Fourth Wing is because she knew that her publisher was looking for a new adult romantasy series to fill the niche. This is something I mentioned earlier. So the publisher told her they are actively looking for a series that is romantasy and they want to publish it. And because this was a niche that was taking off and is getting really popular at the moment, and they wanted to jump in onto that. So Rebecca Yarros did not have an idea before her publisher said they want this. She then had to sit down and think of a story out of her ass, basically, peace and love. Because from everything I've heard her say, she never said, I always wanted to write Violet's story. She was always a story that lived in my heart and everything. The only thing she said is she always wanted to write fantasy. And she likes dragons, which is why she wrote a fantasy with dragons. And also, one of the dragons is inspired by her dead dog. Rip, of course. Love dogs. But that's all she really said. And I think it's interesting because usually when you hear authors talk about their books and their characters, they will always say that it's something that has lived with them for a long time, that the story that they are writing is something that has been with them, maybe even since they were teenagers, and but that's usually the first book that they write. They have always wanted to write this book because the characters have always been with them, or there's usually more of a story behind it than my publisher wanted me to write this book. And I don't know how common it is that publishers ask their authors to write this book. I don't know if it's more common that happens or that they look for new authors and new manuscripts that are being pitched in that niche, okay? Because usually, I would imagine if it's being pitched to an author that they already have, they don't already have an idea for it. They have to come up with one. But if they're looking for new manuscripts, that idea is something that the person was really passionate about writing. And I'm not saying Rebecca Yarros wasn't passionate about writing Fourth Wing. I'm just saying it's not as passionate as someone who has lived with a romantasy, new adult fantasy story in their head for the past 5 years, or since they were a fucking teenager and have always wanted to write the book, versus someone who was just asked to do it and then did it, okay? I don't know if I'm getting my point across correctly, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say. So, she actually made a video where she explained the timeline for writing Fourth Wing. And I'm so sorry, Rebecca, peace and love, she's not watching this, for just picking on her, but she just shares everything on the internet, which is really great for me if I'm making this video. So she's a great example to use. She said that she had been writing new adult romance, plain romance, since 2014, and she was already signed to this publishing house. And then she heard about them wanting to expand into the romantasy new adult niche in the March of 2022. So last year's spring. And she then proceeded to write the first chapter in an 8-page synopsis of Fourth Wing. Okay, so basically just an idea and a first chapter, and she sent it to the publishing house. She gave it to them. They read it and they said, this is the greatest thing we have ever read. This is the new fucking Harry Potter or some shit. No, peace and love, you know. This is the new, I don't know. This is the new Throne of Glass. I don't know what they said, but they apparently loved it. According to her, and she has this video on her TikTok. I just Googled, and she just tells you about it. And I watched it on 2 times speed, and it was really nice that she just gave me all of this information. I'm so thankful. She also posts her age on her Instagram. So thankful. I don't have to do the research, you know. The intense research. And she sent it to them. They said, okay, we want this, please. If the rest of the book is as good as this synopsis, or she said she wrote 50 pages, if this is as good as these first 50 pages, this first chapter, then this is going to be a banger. And then she says she had a book coming out in October of 2022, so she had to finish writing that first of all, okay? And then she was also working on Fourth Wing at the same time, and she says that she plotted for around 6 weeks for the book, and then she wrote it in 3 months. And I don't know if with plotting for 6 weeks she means just the first book or the whole series, because plotting for 6 weeks for just one book to me seems a little bit long. And that being said, I've never written a book. And I'm not planning on doing it. I always say I want to, but, you know, I'm lazy. So, don't know if that's ever going to happen. Probably not. I'm very lazy. Extremely lazy. So, that's why I'm saying I'd rather be an editor than an author. So I just have to judge other people, which I'm already doing. Peace and love. I'm sorry. But peace and love again. So she also has announced that the Fourth Wing series is going to be 5 books. And I know this, but I got this information from comments on TikTok over a random TikTok video, so don't take my word for it. But they said in the comments that she is currently finishing the 4th book, which they wrote in like, I don't know, summer this year is when this video was published that I saw the comments under. And the 5 books is confirmed that she's writing 5 books, but her finishing up the 4th, I don't really know where that information came from. Where did my camera just get so dark? Hello. Oh, it's heating up. Why? Because I'm talking so much? I'm spitting so much fire. That's why. Okay, then let's continue quickly. She also announced, allegedly, according to this random comment that I saw, that she will be publishing a book every 6 months in this series. And I'm just not sure about the logistics of all of that. How can you write a book this fast, edit it, and get all of the shit ready for it? Like, with all of the covers, all of the printing and everything, how can they do it so fast? And it's just weird to me that she is writing them. She's just pushing them out. She's just, I don't even know. I feel like there's like not that much editing going into them. You know what I mean? It felt that, because 4th Wing already felt like a first draft. And I'm sure she had an editor for it. I'm sure someone helped her write that. Probably God, because I noticed that, guys, I'm so sorry, but she has a thanks. What is it called again? Acknowledgements at the end. And the first person she thanks is our Lord Jesus Christ. And, you know, to each their own, but it's like, is he helping you write this fast? Is he helping you edit? Because then he needs to do a better job. And that's already everything I wanted to say. I just wanted to get to the point that this woman is pushing out her best-selling series every 6 months. And that I just don't understand how the publishing industry can be so tough and so volatile. I don't even know if volatile is the right word. And then they're still doing this. And the quality is just lacking. It's just lacking. In the books that I've read, they're not taking their time. Especially because this is not something, like, I don't want to be too mean, but her having said that this is a book she's just basically just writing because her publishers wanted her to do it, I just don't think that there's enough passion behind it. Because it's not something that she's always wanted to do. And that being said, again, I'm sure that this happens often in the publishing industry, that they pitch, the publishers pitch ideas to the writers, but it just doesn't sit right with me for some reason. I just feel like books should be something that truly is born within you and that you feel so passionate about that you should be the one initiating it. And that sounds really mean, and I get that, and the opinions would probably differ on this, and that's fine, you know. I love to hear other people's opinion on this, but the quality is just lacking in these books, and the publishing industry being so strict and selective about everything they publish, and then they publish stuff like this. Maybe if you want to publish a book, you should go to Entangled Publishing. Maybe they'll help you out, you know, if they're already publishing this kind of stuff. Just, you know, just an idea. Oh, guys, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to tell you about the process of 4th Wing, and I think if you've watched other videos of mine, you already, before watching this podcast episode, you would have already known my opinion on all of this, that I think authors should take their time, and that publishing books from the same series in the same year is just something so unrealistic, and so I can't even imagine how much pressure you must feel to get it out and done. I don't understand why they're not at least giving them a year's time, or more months than 6 months, because 6 months is that's not even like enough time. You know what I mean? That's not enough time, in my opinion. I don't know. Some people, of course, are fast writers and everything, but I think it's always better to take your time with things and to not rush them. And the same goes for writing a book, and I think it's really, there's a decline happening. My brother just got up at 1:30. Peace and love. So, that being said, let me know your opinions about this in the comments. Of course, also on 4th Wing, or just in general. Maybe you know someone who works in publishing, or you work in publishing, and you have different opinions about this. Maybe you think it's fine and it's normal, but the trend is becoming so much faster, and I think maybe authors are even being a little bit pressured to put out their books faster, just so they don't lose the hype around them, just so Booktok keeps that interest up in your book. And you know what I mean? Like, they're being pushed to publish faster, so Booktok doesn't stop talking about your book. Like, the first book just came out, and now you're about getting out the second one, just so the short attention span of people is pleased, you know? I don't know. I think that Booktok definitely has a influence on the publishing industry, and is maybe even enabling all of this, and the pressure that the authors feel in getting their books out faster and not giving them as much time. Maybe especially if they're newer authors, not like Sarah J. Maas, who can take 2 years to publish her next book because she knows people will still read it. People are excited for it. Or Cassandra Clare, I mean, she's still publishing regularly. Do you guys want me to read the new Cassandra Clare book? I don't know if anyone's still watching. Let me know, because I heard, I saw it actually at the bookstore 2 days before it came out. They already put it out, and I was thinking about getting it, but I don't know what it's about. I just know it's not about Shadowhunters. And I don't know if anyone really cares about that book, if I'm being honest. So I didn't really hear that much buzz about the release. Let me know if you want me to read it. I put it on the TBR. My members get to vote for it. So that being said, I think I've talked enough. This is long enough. An hour is long enough for this video. Let me know your opinions in the comments. Again, thank you for everyone who watched up until this part. Thank you to all of my members for supporting me and loving me. I hope you love me. I love you. Peace and love. I love you. And again, Immortal Longings vlog is coming out in the next few days. And follow me on Goodreads. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok at Honestly Sophie or Honestly Sophie YT. It's in the description alongside with all of the videos I mentioned. Maybe. I don't know if I'm going to have the energy to put all of it. I mentioned a lot of my videos. I don't even remember all of the ones I mentioned. I should have written it down. But that being said, I love you so much. Thank you for supporting me and thank you for watching. Peace and love. Stay happy, stay healthy, and maybe I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.